Tonight on ELN Local News, Governor Pat McCrory was sworn in this weekend in downtown Raleigh. We have coverage of the inaugural event from the parade to the ball.
I believe is a good response. We didn't have to wait for a tragedy to happen in Greensboro to say, oh gosh, we should try to get guns off the street.
Greensboro has a new program that allows you to turn in your unwanted guns. We'll show you how.
An ELN student is trying to make his family proud by breaking school records and being the first in his family to graduate from college. His story later in the show. I'm Brittany McDavid.
And I'm Nicole Bloom. ELN Local News starts right now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with our coverage of the 2013 North Carolina inaugural events. It took him 8 years, but last Saturday, Pat McCrory was able to deliver his inaugural address. Governor McCrory delivered his address with the state capitol in the background. The former Charlotte mayor laid out his plans for a better future for North Carolina. Thousands attended the ceremony in which Governor McCrory promised many new opportunities.
Gentlemen, there is another way. As I look out toward Main Street with government at our back, I see unlimited opportunity. Government should not and cannot be a barricade or an obstacle to progress.
After his speech, Governor McCrory spent the rest of his day at the inaugural parade and ball. People lined the streets of downtown Raleigh to see their newly elected governor, as well as many other attractions. Our Gary Grumbach was at the parade and found that they were celebrating more than just the inauguration.
Crowds gathered in Raleigh Saturday morning to welcome one of the men they elected into office. In his speech, Governor McCrory shared his high hopes for the next 4 years.
Working together, we can make North Carolina the place of unlimited potential, where anyone who studies hard, who works hard, who lives a life with high values, any of these factors, all of these three factors put together, that anyone can fulfill and even exceed their potential.
After the speech, the crowd gathered along the parade route to catch a glimpse of the new governor. The parade had something for all ages. As Pat McCrory looks forward to the next 4 years, the inaugural parade celebrates North Carolina's future and its rich cultural past. Over the years, a diverse body of people have called North Carolina home.
Important for the state to know how much we bring into not only cultural but financial.
My Navy CB Veterans Group was in the parade. It means a lot. I think it's the first time that we've ever been in it, and we just found out about it about Wednesday this week. And I think we may have, other than the Marine Corps band, I think we may have been one of the few military veterans organizations in the parade.
The parade's younger viewers had their own favorites, too.
The old cars.
The clowns.
From history to hilarity, the inaugural parade had something for everyone. In Raleigh, Gary Grumbach, ELN Local News.
With over 70 floats at this weekend's parade, it was hard to capture the attention of the crowd. But our Eric Halprin found one float that had people talking, and not just about its appearance.
Floats are the main attraction at many parades, but at Saturday's gubernatorial inaugural parade, one of the floats promoted a local industry.
With more than 70 floats here at the parade today, it's hard to stand out. But I found one that makes parade goers rethink how they buy their food.
And the cart is one of a few that are available. It came from St. Louis, Missouri. We contacted them to bring one here for us to use to promote North Carolina agriculture.
Joe Sanderson is the Assistant Director of Marketing for the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and says that they use the massive shopping cart as a marketing tool.
We use it to promote the fact that agriculture is our leading industry. We use it so that consumers can understand that it's a major part of what North Carolina is about. and we also use it as a tool to leverage sales to the retailers.
The department thinks that the image of an oversized shopping cart is something consumers will remember and associate with their cause. They sometimes place the cart outside grocery stores to bring attention to the store.
We've been in this game a long time before local foods were popular, and but now it's an easier job to sell local products than it's ever been. People recognize the importance of supporting the economy in the state.
Resident Lucy Harris, who saw the cart at the parade on Saturday, agrees.
You always get attention when you do something unusual.
The bigger the better, the louder the better. It gets the attention of the consumer so that we can give them our message about our leading industry.
They also use the RV as a marketing device, but Sanderson says that the cart is more popular.
It's amazing how many people have seen the cart, they like the cart, and they look for it wherever we are.
In Raleigh, Eric Halpern, ELN Local News.
And after the parade, hundreds flocked to Governor McCrory's new home, the North Carolina Executive Mansion. I was there and found out more. On Saturday afternoon, crowds of people lined the streets of Raleigh as they awaited a glimpse into Governor McCrory's new home. I'm here at the open house at the Governor's Mansion, which is just one of the many inaugural activities this weekend. The lower level of the mansion was open for viewing, and recently elected officials greeted the public.
Every state has a mansion for their governor, but North Carolina is one of the few states that actually built a home for the governor.
Rooms, well, they're very special. They're very historic, as we know. Former governors and families have been here and have governed us and have lived in this mansion, and it's just, the history is so rich for us, and we must be here. But it belongs to us. It's our home, too.
Completed in 1891, this executive mansion has been home to 29 North Carolina governors, including Pat McCrory, who moved in last week.
He just brings such a different kind of color to North Carolina, someone that's really going to bring jobs to our state and really get the state back to work. It's something we really haven't seen in the last couple of years.
The sun's come out of
yeah,
North Carolina.
Was that a sign that when you started talking, the sun came out?
And I started talking about my dad. That's what made it happen.
Governor McCrory made a few appearances during the afternoon, making his way through the crowd. The open house was certainly a highlight for those who attended. In Raleigh, Nicole Bloom, ELN Local News. At the tour of the North Carolina Governor's Mansion, we were able to talk to several politicians. Elaine Marshall has been the North Carolina Secretary of State since 1997. In 2010, Marshall had a failed Senate run against Republican Richard Burr. She defeated Republican Ed Goodwin by receiving 54% of the votes this fall. Marshall believes that the economy will pick up as the governor begins his work in office, and she is ready to play her part.
Excited about doing what we've got to do in challenging times. We're business infrastructure at my office, and so the economy begins with us. So as the economy picks up, as Governor McCrory implements his plan, corporations will be formed, trademarks will be filed, all those kinds of things in my office, and so we are ready, willing, and able to go.
And the other politician we spoke with was June Atkinson. Atkinson was re-elected as the North Carolina State Superintendent. Atkinson has held the position of state superintendent since 2005 and was the first woman to serve in this position. She beat Republican nominee John Tedesco with 54% of the votes and says that the school systems need to be taken into the 21st century.
One of the biggest issues we have is to make sure that all 100% of our students graduate from high school. We've had an all-time high graduation rate, but we need to move that from 80.4% to 100%. And we have the challenge of making sure that all of our schools have the technology necessary for us to teach in a 21st century mode.
Inaugural weekend wrapped up in Raleigh Saturday night with the gubernatorial ball at the Raleigh Convention Center. Our Katie Marigee was there and has the story.
Nothing could be finer Saturday night in downtown Raleigh for guests arriving for the inaugural celebration honoring Pat McCrory's victory.
Hello, North Carolina!
Guests gathered to enjoy North Carolina favorites, from music to the atmosphere, highlighting different regions of North Carolina, and right down to state treats like barbecue pork and cheerwine cupcakes.
Inaugural
celebration here in Raleigh Convention Center marked the end of a week of celebrations. Public, political, and younger groups joined in the fun.
Eat food and just listen to the music and celebrate.
Just wander around and meet new people.
One local father says it's important for the younger crowd to participate in political events.
I thought there would be nothing better than to bring, my 14-year-old daughter and one of her good friends to come and see what this is all about, so they can hear the promises that are being made, so that when they get to be my age, they can have a chance to see whether or not they've been delivered on.
Pat McCrory echoed the idea in his rally speech.
If you're over 40 right now, our job is to identify the next generation of leaders in this state.
As the celebrations come to a close, McCrory and his supporters look ahead to the next 4 years. Katie Mergy, ELN Local News.
Coming up, a local church helps community members get rid of their unwanted guns with no questions asked.
And Congress may have successfully avoided the fiscal cliff. There will still be consequences for many people, including ELN students. Find out how you will be affected after the break.
ESTV is part
This week, our Meredith Kelly shared with us the general effects of the fiscal cliff and how ELN University would be affected. This week, she took a closer look at how it is going to affect students financially.
As 2012 came to a close, Congress and the White House were able to avert the so-called fiscal cliff that would have caused more than a $500,000 tax increase and across-the-board spending cuts. Though they were able to avoid the fiscal cliff, the nation will still be affected. ELN's campus is no exception. Over 800 students work jobs on campus, and many others work off campus. Taxes will increase 2 percentage points from 4.2% to 6.2%. This will directly affect students' first paychecks in 2013. Vaughn Vreeland works on campus as a tour guide and will soon be affected by these tax increases.
I knew kind of the preventative measures that Congress was trying to take, but I didn't know that it would really essentially affect me on the personal level that it does. I figured it might affect some bigger corporations, but I didn't know that it would trickle down all the way to kind of like a little peon in Elon, North Carolina like myself.
The issue of spending cuts will also have an effect on incoming students' financial support. Financial aid and student loans are some of students' deciding factor when choosing a university. Students, like Alyssa Fonseca, rely on student grants here at ELN.
Actually, one of the reasons that I came to ELN was because of the financial aid that I got, because I also got into William & Mary and I really wanted to go there, but I didn't get any financial aid, so this is definitely one of the reasons that I wanted to come here.
For many families, the cost of college will continue to be an issue, and families' ability to rely on student loans will be reduced.
If it decreases, I think that'll really affect how many people go there, like the choices why they come to ELN.
Meredith Kelly, ELN Local News.
Director of Financial Planning Patrick Murphy stated concerns about financial aid for future students. He said that if we still go off the fiscal cliff, come fall of 2014, less students will be eligible for financial aid. But currently, students are safe.
Vice President Joe Biden has been meeting with many different organizations to get perspectives on gun violence. Biden is expected to meet with President Obama today to present and discuss plans regarding gun control. Janae Frazier is live in the studio with more on what's being done locally. Janae?
Thanks, Nicole. With more pressure being put on lawmakers to pass laws regarding gun control, safe surrender programs are becoming more popular. This past weekend, Greensboro officials partnered up with community leaders to help with gun control right here in the Triad.
Handguns and shotguns, rifles and ammunition were all collected at 3 Greensboro churches on Friday and Saturday.
Having a gun turn-in, I believe, is a good response. We didn't have to wait for a tragedy to happen in Greensboro to say, oh gosh, we should try to get guns off the street. We can learn and empathize from what other communities have experienced.
No questions asked and no identity needed. People could voluntarily surrender their weapons anonymously and no longer had to worry about them.
You have a peace of mind when you leave here that it's in a secure location and you can
be assured that the weapon won't fall into the wrong hands and be used illegally.
No one who turned in a gun wanted to talk on camera, but many people who have turned in guns say they no longer have a use for them and saw this as a great opportunity to get rid of them. All the guns' serial numbers will be put through a database to see if it is lost or stolen. Police will try to return the weapons to their rightful owners. If the gun has been involved with any criminal activity, police will try to make connections. The rest of the weapons will be destroyed by a shredder.
Any weapon we take off the street and render secure to us, that's always a success.
This was the first time Greensboro held a safe surrender program. During the two-day event, almost 80 guns were collected. Police say they were pleasantly surprised and appreciative for the guns that were turned in. The city is looking to do more safe surrender events in the future. Live in the studio, I'm Janae Frazier.
Changes to an organization that provides groceries to food-insecure families in Alamance County may have some wondering where they will get their next meal. But organization administrators say there's no need for the worry. Loaves and Fishes have temporarily stopped food distribution in their Burlington headquarters, located on South Lexington Avenue, due to renovations. The center is reorganizing so it can more effectively distribute food to clients. Loaves and Fishes collects food for donations from distributions from the local community or buys from the food bank when needed. It is also a stop where several ELN students volunteer. The administration offices located in the Burlington headquarters for Loaves and Fishes remain open. Coming up, a new a cappella group on campus. Find out what they want to do to be different from all the others.
And I'll tell you about two ELN students who took their relationships to the next level while still in school.
ESTV is part
Soon, Ripcord won't be the only all-male a cappella group on ELN's campus. Smooth Progressions was started by Montez Brown, and he says he has some big plans for his new group. Brown and co-founder Cody Schmidt have spent the past few days creating and posting signs all around campus. We asked Brown what makes Smooth Progressions different from the other a cappella groups on campus.
It's hard to say just yet because I don't know who's going to audition. Like, I have an idea of who's going to come around, but my goal is to just bring a different sound. Like, I want our group to have a purpose separate from the rest of the groups.
More than 100 students joined the party and danced at ELN's third annual Zumbathon Friday evening in Jordan Gym. The 2-hour campus rec event encouraged fun, fitness, and charity and raised money for the Boys and Girls Club by the end of the night. ELN students Jill Graziak and Christine Maver-Ganis led the popular Latin dance fitness program.
Because I like to see people just having a really good time and know that my energy can affect that. And I like to see people exercise. I know it's really good for people, and if I can make it as pain-free as possible, that makes me happy.
In 2012, the average age that an American was first married was 27 for women and 29 for men. However, some adults are breaking the pattern. I found two ELN students who took their relationships to the next level and are planning on getting married before the year is over. In today's society, marriage is starting to rank lower and lower on the list of priorities. Many people are beginning to choose careers and life experiences before settling down, and thus the average age a couple gets married is pushed back. The average age for a bride in the U.S. is 27, but for some college students, when you know, you know. Sophomore Daniel Myers met his fiancée in 7th grade math class. They began dating his freshman year at ELN, and after 6 months, he popped the question.
I mean, I didn't think it was going to go this way, but I couldn't have hoped for anything better.
Myers understands that marriage at 20 may seem unusual to some people, but that didn't affect his decision.
I put more value on maturity than age.
Senior Alicia Bowers took her fiancé to homecoming in the 10th grade. After dating for over 5 years, Bowers knew it was time to take her relationship to the next level.
There's just something about an engagement and that connection that is just really special and like bonds you closer.
Neither Myers nor Bowers can deny that with marriage comes sacrifice and responsibility, but both agree that the moment when you meet the one can come at any age.
If it was now or when we were like 30, it would still be the same. I just think that we're meant to be together.
Britta McDavid, ELN Local News.
Coming up in sports, meet one runner who wants to do nothing more than to make his family proud by breaking school records and graduating from college. Welcome back to ELN Local News. I'm Justin Beagle with your sports update. Coming to the United States is a very challenging task for many immigrants, and they often leave behind many of their belongings and family members. For sophomore cross-country and track runner Luis Vargas, moving from Mexico to the U.S. was very difficult, and running is the one way he hopes to make his family proud. Our Jimmy Stevenson shares his story.
Luis Vargas Hernandez holds multiple cross-country and track school records as a Phoenix. But a lot of endurance was required to get him where he is today. The Mexican-born sophomore moved to America at the expense of his father's sacrifice.
None of his brothers, none of his sisters, and I mean his mom and dad, they all stayed back. I look up to him. You know, that's the father I want to be. In a way, none of this would be possible without him.
He works hard each and every day to certainly make his family proud, but also his teammates proud. He takes great pride in his relationships.
Vargas carries his family with him wherever he runs. He always has them in his heart.
Te amo. I love you guys. Yeah. Gracias. Thank you. I don't know. I'm more of a action speaks louder than words. So I can say that to them every day, but I want them to show. I want to show them that I mean those things.
Vargas has made strides to make his family proud. His older brother Eduardo has always been a role model, but as Luis embarked on his journey to ELN, being the first person in his family to go to college, Eduardo started to see him in a new light.
Definitely, growing up, my brother was my hero, and he was always looking out for me. He always, taught me the right things, and I just look up to him. He's just my big brother. I know he'll always have my back no matter what. It's crazy that when I got into college, he told me that the roles had been reversed, that now he looks up to me, and that literally, that changed my world.
But even with multiple awards and records, Vargas knows there is one simple piece of paper that will mean the world to his family.
A college degree, they'll just die of happiness that day, and I can't wait for my graduation, because I know that'll be one of the happiest moments of their lives.
Jimmy Stevenson, ELN Local News.
With the winter indoor track season just underway, it did not take long for freshman Megan Kirschling to stamp her name in the ELN record books. Kirschling set the ELN University high jump record at the Liberty Invitational in Lynchburg, Virginia in late December. With a final measurement of 5 feet 8 inches, Kirschling broke the record of 5 feet 5 3/4 inches set by her sophomore teammate Luis Probateo just last year. Kirschling was thrilled to have set such a record, but understands she now has to step up her game.
It was great having family support and team support, and the coaches were really helpful, so it was exciting to start out so strong, and I'm just looking forward to continuing on into the season.
In soccer news, ELN's own Chris Thomas continues to prepare for the MLS draft, which is now just a few days away. Last week, Thomas was one of 54 players selected to participate in the MLS Combine held in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. There, he caught the attention of several GMs and owners. According to ESPN's mock draft, Thomas is projected to be a first-round draft pick. Meanwhile, senior wide receiver Aaron Millett readies himself for the Senior Bowl, which will be played on January 26th in Mobile, Alabama. Millett was invited to play after an 18-touchdown, 1,400 receiving yards season. Now, the NFL draft is not until April, but Sports Nation's Dan Cater lists Millett as the 16th best receiver coming out of college. CBS Sports projected Millett to be a 5th-round draft pick, but with a strong performance at the 2013 Senior Bowl, Millett could definitely see his stock rise. And finally, today's a great day to be a hockey fan once again. Last weekend, the NHL and NHL Players Association reached a tentative deal to last for 10 years. Yesterday, players and coaches returned to the ice for the first day of training camp, and it was clear that everyone was glad to get back to work. The 48-game season is set to begin on Saturday, January 19th at 3 p.m. with the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. So yes, Nicole and Brendan, there will in fact be a hockey season this year. That's your latest in sports. I'm Justin Beagle. Nicole, Brendan, back to you.
All right, thank you, Justin. That's all we have for this ELN Local News.
For continuing coverage on the stories you care about, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
And as always, visit our website, elonlocalnews.com.
From all of us here at ELN Local News, have a great week, ELN.